I think cloud computing really enables IT professionals to get out of the game of patching servers and managing infrastructure. And instead, it allows them to really focus on what will differentiate them from the competition. Most of our customers tell us that they don't really want to be best in class at running email or running collaboration servers. They want to be best in class at whatever their company does. So cloud computing really gives customers the ability to offload a lot of that traditional work, which is relatively non-strategic work for them, and give it to a company like Microsoft to run on their behalf. That's one dimension of cloud computing, I think. I think the CIO will really be able to focus more of their energy on helping their company differentiate themselves from their competitors. The CIO of Coca-Cola Enterprises said to me, "Look, I'm not going to beat my competition by running Exchange better than them. I bet you guys can run Exchange better than both of us. So you know what? I'm betting on you to run Exchange for me. And you better run it well. But I'm going to actually take that money and those people, and I'm going to focus them on strategic IT projects that help me differentiate from my competitor." I think one of the big myths about the cloud is that it's all or nothing. There's a notion, I think, in the press that it's just the cloud, cloud, cloud. With Microsoft, we really take an approach of understanding that for many customers, we need to deliver the cloud on their terms, which could mean that for an email workload, they're not going to run any servers at all, and it's just going to be 100% in the cloud. But for something like SharePoint, they might want to keep that on-premise for a variety of reasons. So giving them the ability to mix and match some workloads in the cloud, some workloads on-premise, but for the end user, it's incredibly seamless. Again, they don't care whether the servers are inside their own company or in Microsoft's data center. I think that's an approach that really differentiates Microsoft from everybody else in the industry. And we're seeing customers embrace it. One of the things that's really been fun to see is that many customers who run our products for their headquarters employees, they'll run those on-premise as they've done traditionally. They might be pretty good at that. They keep it up to date. They run it relatively cheaply. But they'll use the cloud to reach a new class of workers inside their own company that they've never provided technology to before. So we take a company like Starbucks. They've been running Exchange and SharePoint Server for years for their headquarters, but they've never given their baristas, the people who work in their cafes, any email or collaboration technology. Just this past year, they rolled out thousands of laptops into their cafes that connect to the internet just using the wireless network that they provide for their customers. Nothing separate, nothing super fancy. When they connect to the internet, they're connecting to Exchange Online, and they're doing lightweight email from inside the stores. But the global address list is one global address list for all the store workers and all the headquarters employees. So they've taken a real hybrid approach of headquarters being run with on-premise servers, but cafes being run through Exchange Online in the cloud, and they bring the two of them together so it looks just like one unified company. And that's a really nice example of the hybrid model working for Starbucks. And they're not alone. I'd actually say that that's more of the common practice that we're seeing rather than the exception. Well, I think the number one concern that customers have, particularly CIOs and CFOs, when they think about the cloud is it reliable? Is it secure? Who looks at the data? Is my data private, even though it doesn't live inside my own data center anymore? And those are completely valid concerns. And we always encourage customers to really look hard at different vendors' approaches, because not all cloud companies are created equal when it comes to this dimension of the cloud. And it really should be high on any CIO's list to make sure that the cloud vendor that they choose is really good at this and takes it quite seriously. At Microsoft, we've adopted an approach when it comes to security of a very robust, multi-layered security approach. And when most customers look at what we do to keep our data centers secure, to keep the hardware secure, to keep our change management processes very rigorous and secure, they're typically blown away. And usually they'll tell us your data center and your approach to security is far more sophisticated and far more secure than anything I'm ever going to be able to afford in my own data center. So it goes from being a fear factor to actually a selling point for the Microsoft cloud approach, because they realize that we've invested $2.3 billion in these data centers. We take an approach of geo-redundant data centers. So every single one of our cloud customers, their data is stored in a primary data center and then a secondary data center that's separated by hundreds or thousands of miles from each other. So if there is a catastrophic event in the city where the first data center lives, that second data center is up and running and ready to go. That's something that almost nobody can afford to do for their own data center. You know, multi-layer security for the people who actually go to the data center. You can't just walk in. There's fingerprint scanning, there's card key access. So when you add all of those things together, it really means that Microsoft is an enterprise class cloud company, and many, many other vendors aren't. We, of course, document and articulate how we run the data center. No employee looks at anybody's data that's in the data center itself. So no one's scanning your email to sell advertisements. It's a very pure, hardcore operation. And CIOs really need to ask those questions and get answers to them before they make a decision on a cloud partner.